For each of the following, make the variable shown in brackets the subject of the formula. So in A, I have to make D the subject of the formula. That means I need to solve for D. When I solve for D, I need to first of all look at my right-hand side of my expression, 6D minus 3, and let's add 3 on both sides. That means I've left with G plus 3 equals 6D. To get D by itself, to solve for D or make D the subject, let's divide both sides by 6. On the right-hand side of the equation, I now have D is equal to G over 6 plus 3 over 6. I could take this one step further and say that's G over 6 plus 1 over 2. My second equation B, I have A equals V minus U over T. In this case, I need to make V the subject to the formula, so I need to get V by itself. Well, let's start by multiplying both sides by T to get rid of that denominator. That leaves me with AT equals V minus U. I want V by itself, so I'm going to add U on both sides of the equation, which means AT plus U is equal to V. Rearrange each formula to make X the subject. Making X the subject is another way of saying solve for X. That means I want to get X by itself. So in this case, I am going to leave Kx on the right-hand side of the equation and subtract M on both sides. On my left-hand side of the equation, I have Y minus M is equal to Kx. Because I'm solving for X, I need to find out what is the value of X. Kx means K times X, so divide both sides by K, and I'll end up with X is equal to Y minus M over K. X is now the subject of that formula, so I have solved for X. B, 6y plus 1 is equal to 7x minus 2. Now again, I have to solve for X, which means get X by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is expand the brackets. Remember, brackets means multiply. 6 times y is 6y. 6 times plus 1 is plus 6. Expand the brackets on the right-hand side of the equation. 7 minus x is 7x, and 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. Again, I'm going to keep the 7x on the right-hand side of the equation because I'd like the x to remain positive. And I'm going to add 14 on both sides. So I add 14 on both sides of the equation so that on the right-hand side of the equation I have just got 7x by itself. On the left-hand side I have got 6y. 14 plus 6 is 20, so 6y plus 20 equals 7x. 7x means 7 times x, so divide both sides by 7 to find out the value of x, which means x is equal to 6y plus 20 over 7. Another way of writing this fraction is actually 6y over 7 plus 20 over 7 is equal to x. It's not really necessary in this case to take this fraction and split it up into two separate fractions, but sometimes it's useful to be able to see that the variable with y has got a coefficient 6 over 7 and the constant is 20 over 7.